Have you ever met the guy that you wanted to hate? And when you went to put the straps up, told you to wait.
Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love, peace and love. This is yours truly, Author P.E. McCallum, author of the book NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective, better known as Pal Shadows the General. Y'all can just call me Pal. I'm doing something a little bit different today on this NGR Exposed platform. I'm going live. I'm doing my first live stream. Just want to see how it works. I've never done it before, and I just want to give it a shot and see if, what the live stream life is like. So, I have some topics that I want to discuss. I have a cool video that I want to share with everybody, and it's about the N-word, because one thing about this platform is, like I always remind y'all, I am the author of the book NGR, What Does It Mean? You can find it on Amazon, audiobook, paperback, and Kindle, right? But so this platform is to talk about the N-word, right? But also to discuss issues surrounding racism, issues surrounding discrimination, prejudice, white supremacy, and etc. And this platform is designed to help us to bring these things into the conversation so that we can begin to heal from the effects of these things. Because, a lot of us have experienced this, and we've had negative experiences that affect us to this day. And some of us just want to know more about the N-word. Some of us want to know more about how we can help to end racism. And some of us just want to heal from racism. Some of us just want to have a good conversation, a healthy conversation. And that's what this platform is for. So today is no different, other than I'm live streaming, and this is interesting. So I like it. I can dig it, but I hope y'all dig it as well. Today we have a video from PBS NewsHour platform on YouTube, and we're going to be listening to it today. And because this is a very interesting video entitled "How the N-Word Became the Atomic Bomb of Racial Slurs." So that's what we're going to talk about: how the N-word became the most offensive word in the English language. According to dictionary.com, the N-word is the most offensive word in the entire English language. And we're going to discuss how it became that way. But we're also going to discuss, where did the N-word originate from? What does it really mean? Because the N-word does not mean lazy or ignorant like a lot of people think it does. The N-word does not mean lazy or ignorant. All right. What does it really mean? We're going to answer those questions, but let's get into it. All right.
Yesterday, Charlotte, North Carolina television reporter Steve Crump accepted an apology from Brian Ibers. The two men were involved in a confrontation last week during which Ibers used the N-word, and Crump recorded it. Crump was on assignment in Charleston, South Carolina, reporting on hurricane recovery when he walked past Ibers. And a warning, the next two videos include use of the...
What's up, fam? All right. All about minutes. We're talking about the N-word. Welcome to my platform, NGR Exposed. This is a platform where I'm the author of this book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An expose on the N-word from a hip-hop perspective. And this is my first time. What's up, Bella? Peace, peace. What's up? What's up? And thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for joining me. This is my first time doing a live stream on my platform. And it's all, so, we just having fun with it, seeing how it goes. And hopefully y'all learn something. So what we're doing today, minutes to answer your question, is we're going to discuss some things in my book, because my book is all about the N-word, like where the N-word came from, where it originated from, the history of it, the origins, the etymology of the N-word. This is like the textbook on the N-word. Everything that you could want to know about the N-word is in this book. And it's available on Amazon right now in paperback, audiobook, and Kindle. My name is Pal, all right? Also known as author P.E. McCallum. And this is my book on the N-word that I wrote. And this is a platform to promote the book, but also to talk about, more importantly, to talk about the content that's in the book. So if y'all hold tight, I got some content for y'all. Welcome, because y'all the first people on my stream, on my live stream. And let's get into this. So what we're reviewing is right now how the N-word became the atomic bomb of racial slurs. Because a lot of people don't know that the N-word is considered the most offensive word in the entire English language, according to dictionary.com. And so they're saying that this is from the PBS NewsHour platform on YouTube, how the N-word became the atomic bomb of racial slurs. So yeah, we're just gonna go. Y'all stay tuned, check it out. Tell a friend.
N-word.
What did you call me? What did you just call me? I called you sir. No, you did not call me sir. You called me the N-word, right? I did. I believe I did call you the N-word. You're a f***ing idiot. You're ignorant. So you really are an ignorant.
Y'all couldn't really hear that, but what that was a guy on a corner that was sitting. This black and indigenous and gentleman approached him, and it was a Caucasian guy sitting there, and he just started calling him the N-word for no reason, right? Just for no reason. And it's kind of disturbing because the guy didn't do anything to deserve that.
Is one of the most contentious in the English language. Special correspondent Charlene Hunter-Gault explains. Harvard Law School professor Randall Kennedy. It's part of our year-long Race Matters Solution series.
Professor Kennedy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I don't have to tell you, we're dealing with a very contentious word, but it wasn't always that way.
All right, let's get into this, y'all.
When it was more benign.
It's like many words. It has a mysterious, it sort of rises from the midst. So for instance, in 1619, when there are reports about the first blacks brought to British North America, they are referred to as Nigguhs. Well, it doesn't seem that that was meant in a derogatory way. It seems merely descriptive.
When did it become the kind of word that is so controversial today?
He said when it was recorded in 1619, it was recorded as Nigguhs. Well, according to my research, I don't recall coming across Nigguhs, but I do know that the N-word was recorded as many different spellings. If you go, I suggest all of y'all get a copy of my book, NGR, What Does It Mean? An Expose on the N-word from a hip hop perspective. It's available in paperback, also audiobook, and Kindle. But if you go to page 31, I talk about where did the N-word originate from. And in this section in my book, I talk about some of the earliest recordings of the N-word. And it says, first recorded in 1587. This is from page 32 in my book. First recorded in 1587 as Negar, Negar. Have y'all ever heard that before? The word probably originated with the dialectical pronunciation of Negro in Northern England and Ireland. This answers the question that many have in terms of where did the word nigger in this form specifically originate, America or somewhere else? So again, the N-word first recorded in 1587 as Negar. The word probably originated with the dialectical pronunciation of Negro in Northern England and Ireland. A lot of us have heard Negro, and we've thought that there was a connection between the word Negro with the N-word, and I'm here to tell you that there is a connection between the word Negro and the N-word and the word Nigger as we know it now. And the connecting factor of those two words is NGR. Because one thing that's similar, if you take all the vowels out of Negro, which is the E and the O, then you're left with NGR. If you take all the vowels out of Nigger, you're left with NGGR. Again, NGR. Niger, the word Niger, if you take the I and the E out of Niger, you're left with NGR. And that's because NGR is the origin of the N-word. That's where it originally came from. It came from ancient Egypt, which is also known as Kemet. And it appeared, I have a book that I'll share with y'all on the next live by author E.A. Wallace Budge. And in his book, An Egyptian Hieroglyphic Dictionary, he lists over 14 definitions for NGR, and they all mean emperor ruling. They're aggrandizing terms, emperor, ruler, king, divinity, referencing divinity primarily, and things like that. But let's go and see more what this guy's talking about on the video. Let's listen.
Go back and take a look at what some black writers were saying in the 1820s, the 1830s. They make mention of how white people would tell their children, if you don't behave, we're going to put you in the nigger seat. If you don't behave, we're going to make you sit with the niggers. That's why we know that by then the word had become a slur.
So why are people like, very successful popular comedian like Larry Wilmore, who addressed the president with the word at the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
So, Mr. President, I'm going to keep it 100. Yo, Barry, you did it, my nigga.
But also a lot of the rappers and people, what don't they know? I mean, they're using it almost as a term of endearment.
The infamy of nigger it's a word that has been used to terrorize people, to put people down. But it has also been used in other ways. It's also been used as a way of putting a mirror up to racism. So Dick Gregory titled his first memoir, Nigger, an autobiography. Richard Pryor had a number of albums. That Nigger's Crazy, Bicentennial Nigger. Is he using nigger to put black people down? No, he's using it ironically. He's sometimes using it playfully. He's using it.
I pause it right there. I talk about Richard Pryor in my book as well. And, in the section about the N-word in comedy, right? This is a decent video. He's not really going into, depth. You could tell that he has not, done a lot of research on the N-word. But so he's kind of touching the surface on a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? In my book, we go really deep into depth about the N-word. And, talking about the N-word in comedy, people like Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, they have used the N-word. Most people don't know that the N-word originated in Africa, among Africans, first in ancient Egypt and in ancient Ethiopia. In the ancient Ethiopia, you can look at my last video, and it's the word negus, right? Or NGS, negues, which is ancient Amharic or Ge'ez for monarch or ruler, right? NGUS, pronounced negus. So Emperor Haile Selassie Jah Rastafari was known as the last negus. So, or the negus negas, the king of kings. So again, that NG, right? It's not NGR, it's NGS in this instant, but that's it's the same connection, all right? According to research. You also have the Nagas of ancient India, right? The Nagas, which we know now through research found in my book that the ancient Indians are from Ethiopia. The Ethiopians went to that territory, populated it, India first. And these were the Nagas. The kings came out of that. The Nagas, which means king, right? So, but people like Richard Pryor used the N-word, and Dave Chappelle used the N-word in comedy. Of course, as for shock value, you know what I mean? To shock you. Because the N-word, being the most offensive word in the English language, it makes it the most magnetic. You get the biggest rise out of people from using it. And I think that we have tried over the years to understand the N-word and get a better understanding of the N-word. We've tried to explain it. you know, and we've really done our best to you know, figure it out. Why is it so polarizing? But let's talk a little bit more, because I think that the information that's in my book is the information that people have been looking for. So we're gonna dig a little bit deeper. That this answers the question that many have in terms of where did the word nigger in this form specifically originate, America or somewhere else? Because many of us in America have been exposed to the word in America and have not traveled abroad much, and knowing the deep racial history of America, we tend to think that nigger was something that the American race hate groups like the KKK originated. The unfortunate reality that we have to face is that many of the early American authors were white supremacists. Coming from prestigious universities like Oxford and Cambridge, these were some of the authors who presented us with some of America's earliest racist ideologies. In Michelle Birnbaum's essay review titled "The Politics of Whiteness in Early American Literature," she states, thus, one of the primary concerns of her study is how the strategic production of racial literary tropes from the colonial period through the mid-19th century illuminated and ultimately served white interest. I want to skip a little bit and go here. Page 35. When looking at the etymological root of the N-word as NGR, we must look closer at the words Nigeria and Niger. For many years, I've thought that there might be a connection between the two words nigger and Nigeria, and my line of thinking went like this. Black people are called niggers, and we are from Africa. My thought at the time, not knowing about Black indigenous American history. And I continue that Nigeria is in Africa and the Niger River, so the word nigger probably derived from Nigeria. I'm almost sure of it. Have you had this similar line of reasoning? When you Google what Niger means, this excerpt from Wikipedia comes up. Niger, Latin for black, occurs in Latin scientific nomenclature and is the root word for some homophones of nigger. Sellers of Niger seed, which is used as bird feed, sometimes use the spelling Nyjer seed. This tells us that the N word, specifically in the form of Nigger, originates from the word Niger. As I point out in this expose, the term Niger was first used by the British at some point. Niger became nigger, and here we are today. So let's dig a little bit more. Let's analyze a little bit more.
Often as a mirror to shame racism.
And I don't want them hip white people coming at me calling me no nigger or telling me nigger jokes. I don't like it.
Then you've got people who have the idea of taking nigger back. So you have some people who say, well, nigger has been used to put us down. What we're going to do is grab this word and we're going to use it for our own purposes.
But do they know the history of it?
Well, one of the reasons I wrote a book about this was because I got the sense that there were, especially young people, who were using the word, who did not have an understanding of the history behind the word. So I spent 40 pages just giving instance after instance after instance of the way in which this word has been used to hurt Black people.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't it also been used against other ethnic groups, Chinese, Mormons, Jews?
You know, it's the atomic bomb of racial slurs. It is the racial slur that has been used in other contexts. So, for instance, Palestinians, the niggers of the Middle East, the Irish, the niggers of Europe. This is a term that has been generalized around the world. If you want to put somebody down, analogize them to the nigger.
There's a lot of truth in what he said there. That the N word is such a polarizing word. It's the most offensive word in the English language, according to dictionary.com, right? According to dictionary.com, the N-word, I say this in my intro on page 10. According to dictionary.com, the N-word is probably the most offensive word in the English language. And see, even his book, he didn't know. He didn't know. he didn't know that he didn't talk anything about the origins of the N-word. He didn't talk anything about the etymology of the N-word. And that's because a lot of people they just don't have that information. There's not a lot of research, books. There's not a lot of books. There's research. There's plenty of research, but not a lot of books just written like put in this form. As in my book. That's why I encourage all of y'all checking me out to go to Amazon, download your copy. You can get it in audiobook form. I'm reading the audiobook. You can get it in paperback, Kindle, read it on your iPad or whatever. And, a lot of the research doesn't go into the origins of etymology or as far as books being written, but people mostly talk about the social ramifications of the word, the social issues surrounding it, because I think that's what affects people the most. It's like how it affects us socially. I think is what people really care about the N-word for, like white cats, quote unquote white people. And you know, on my platform, I don't really like the terms black and white. I've done videos on that. Look at some of my previous videos of why I'm not a fan of the terms black and white. I get it. I'm not mad at anybody for using it. Trust me. I understand black power. I understand being black and proud. I understand the psychology of that. Black is beautiful. I understand all that. So never do I put that down. But according to my research, I'm a researcher, the words black and white as applied to so-called black people, it hasn't been good. It hasn't been defined as anything that's good. It's evil. How they define it in their dictionary, we've kind of redefined it outside of intellectual spaces. But in intellectual spaces and in literary form, the word black on paper and the word white means something totally different than what you probably think it means. Talk about that in the book also. Yeah, y'all, I just, I encourage all y'all to go get a copy of my book. It's available on Amazon. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. We'll get more into this, maybe I'll do a little bit more on that video. He wasn't really going into, the origins of etymology. I like how he brought up Richard Pryor. I like how he talked about the N-word being like the atomic bomb of racial slurs. I think that there's a reason that I wrote the book, and I think there's a reason that the book is important in today's time. I still, even in 2026, we just don't have a lot of information about the N-word, y'all. But if you want to know more, keep tuning in. There'll be more lives. There'll be more videos. I have a lot of videos already uploaded. Please subscribe to the platform. Share these videos. I'll see y'all on the next one. In the meantime, spread love, not hate. Spread love, not hate. And continue hip stepping. All right. Rest in peace, Connie D.